Hi, I'm Jory Teal, and I'm here with my husband Mark. I videoed Mark today putting his 6th ride on this filly pistol, and we believe that this video represents or shows exactly why you should be doing business with Cutting Edge Colts.
And
In
Cosmo.
addition to all the dogs and the goat. This filly's been lined out at the arena, I think, and doing really well. This was the first day Mark took her out on the ranch, and
She's been outside at the arena all around the facility and everything, and this will be her first real day outside away from the other horses and stuff. And as you can see, she starts out real good.
so this is just Mark on the filly, and I'm on a horse behind him. And this is where Pistol really spits the bit. And for those of you who don't know what's happening here, Pistol is just flat running off and running backwards and putting Mark in a pretty dangerous position. One of those that makes the wife go, "Damn it, be careful." So I'd like Mark to tell us what's happening here and how he rides this colt through this, because I think this is a place where other trainers would quit because they don't know what to do and they'd be creating a problem horse right here. So I'd like you to take over and tell us what's going on.
Well, there's some options here for sure. When this horse felt like she was going to line out, and then as soon as she reached her exposure level, kind of overexposure, something that bothered her, which you can see it's just this change in terrain really that's bothered her. It doesn't have anything to do with the other horse or leaving the ranch as you saw before. It's just where I think the fear took over, and that creates a pecking order problem. The cue she chooses to ignore, that she already knows from the first 5 rides, is the go forward cue. And her refusal here, as you can see, is to back up. I turn her here only because the backing up is very dangerous, and it gives me a chance to drive those feet forward. Right away I'll catch her again, and now we're going to drive her forward. So right here, that's where you have the options. There are other things that you can do here. You can get the buddy horse. It's totally up to the discretion and the experience of the rider. If you think you can ride through this situation, then this filly will be that much more weaned off of the buddy horse, the dude horse kind of thing, and be
So
comfortable.
you mean instead of you pushing that horse through that fear right there on your own, you could have sent me ahead of you to lead her down that?
Correct. Which, if it got really bad, is another thing you can do if you have that option. If you don't have another horse there, then that's where I learned to do that. I ride these colts a lot by myself, and then I go and check cattle on them by myself. So they need to get the term is lined out. They need to go forward, go where you want, when you want, the way that you want, and not have a lot of nonsense. And what you'll see after that little fit right there that she had, this is going to be a different horse, and you'll see from that point, from a total wreck, what she ends up like at the end of this video. That's again why we chose this video, and it's a good representation of just some of the things that you can accomplish in a short time.
I'll say it. That's a good representation of the skill and the expertise and the honesty that you bring to the training process that a lot of other trainers don't.
Well, thank you. And the first one to see this video after us will be the customer. She knows already there was just a little bit of issues with this mare on her go forward cue. That's why that happened where it did right there. Again, with my knowledge of this horse riding her the first 6 times, it was my choice to think that I could ride through it, and it worked out for the best. In this situation, it just flat worked out, and this mare made a major, major change.
But I think one of the points of this video is a lot of other trainers would do a couple of things. Number one, they would quit when that horse did that and teach that horse that it was okay to do that. And number two, they would never tell the client that that happened.
That happens a lot. The client would never know that this was an issue. And then if a timid rider gets on her, if this horse goes home in 30 days and a timid rider comes to that situation, the horse is not fully broke and ready to be trained, then the owners will run into this at home. That's for sure.
I think that's a really big thing that you bring to the table is honesty.
Well, thank you.
In addition to just personal honesty, we record and video everything and share the good and the bad with the client.
Correct. And a lot of horses come in that other people, not to pick at other trainers, but other people, other trainers, whatever, have ridden and they have that issue, the going down the driveway, the going across the ranch, across the creek.
The go forward.
The go forward cue is gone on these colts. To me, it is the very first thing you have to have. You can see we don't have a whole lot on this colt. She's going to stop and do some other things for us, but I want to just get to riding her, just get her outside, going forward, get her comfortable in all conditions, trotting, walking, loping, all those things, going where we want, when we want, the way that we want.
So right here, she's afraid to go near that lake?
Yes,
pond.
and again, it becomes a pecking order thing that bothers her enough, that makes her mad enough or upset enough that she starts to refuse and chooses to ignore the go forward cue that she sure enough knows.
But one of the things I'm noticing is before she was running backwards. And at least here she's not running backwards.
Okay, so my wife's learning here. So that's you have to accept that that's a
I
positive
pay attention.
A positive thing right there, and you're gaining. You gain from that first experience. She didn't run backwards up the hill and go through all that same nonsense, even though there was another obstacle that really bothered her. So here's the other point I'm going to make in this video. We have to be aware that we're training the mental part. Does she understand the cue? Have we taught it to her, the language that we're speaking? The physical part, can she physically go up that hill or across that creek? And then the emotional part, which is mostly what we're dealing with here, is we're trying to get her over that madness so that she'll come back into the pecking order and listen to the cue to go forward.
So it wasn't really fear, it was just mad. She didn't want you telling her what she could and couldn't do? Or was it fear?
It's fear to start off with. It's a fear of the unknown, or she's exposed there to something she doesn't understand if she can go into that space or not. But it immediately becomes pecking order. And the way we
Who's higher in the food chain?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
If another horse was there, if they were in the wild, whatever, if you want to go that direction with it, that lead horse would make sure these horses went where they wanted to go, and that's all we're doing.
So it looks to me like you got her pretty lined out here.
Right now, this is where the biggest change occurred after that first fit. There was still some little balkiness and stuff, but again, here's the best part, and here's the video we could have shown you. We could have edited all this other nonsense out, showed you this on her 6th ride, and said this colt was perfect. But at least this way you're getting to see some of the things that we go through and have to ride through to do a good job. And this right now is a different horse emotionally than the one we rode on the majority of the ride right here, as you'll see.
We're almost out of time, but can you give us any insight into what you did to get this done? I mean, you took a horse from running off backwards and kind of rearing up and threatening to flip over to loping on a loose rein. How'd you do that?
I used the physical exercise of traveling forward to establish pecking order, asking her to do something she was uncomfortable doing. I used the pressure release of my legs and my hands to give her the yes answer, the right answer cue, if you will, and just kept working away at that. It happened real fast. It's hard to explain, but every time she went forward, I stopped doing what I was doing. Every time she balked or go back, I put the pressure back on. And that's simple as it is.
You did a great job.
Thanks, babe.
And I know I'm partial, but I think you are absolutely
You better be, damn it.
Above and beyond the best place to get a colt started.
Well, thank you. I believe that too, yes. I do believe that.
And thank you so much to Dusty Steele for sending her colt to us and trusting us and giving us her business.